Picture stepping outside into the gentle morning breeze where clusters of vibrant herbs sway softly, each leaf sparkling with tiny drops of dew. You reach down and snip a handful of chives for breakfast, a sprig of rosemary for your evening meal, and some mint for a calming cup of tea. All grown by you, all fresh, and all from plants that faithfully return every year with barely any effort. That's the beauty of perennial herbs. The true plant once, enjoy forever champions of the garden. Unlike annuals such as basil or dill that must be replanted each season, perennials keep giving, sometimes for many years, even decades. It doesn't matter whether you have a sprawling backyard, a modest raised bed, or only a couple of pots on your balcony. These herbs flourish almost anywhere and require very little attention. They bring fragrance, color, and steady harvest to your space throughout the year. Today, we're diving into 8 remarkable perennial herbs that can transform your garden into a self-sustaining, flavorful haven. And stick with me to the very end, because I'll reveal one nearly indestructible herb that even the most forgetful gardeners struggle to kill. Let's get started. 1. Chives, the effortless flavor booster, paraphrased. If any herb truly deserves the title, plant it and forget it, it's chives. These slender, grassy green stalks are the unspoken heroes of the herb world, resilient, beautiful, and endlessly useful. With their soft, onion-like taste, chives reward you every single year with fresh flavor, without needing much care in return. Chives are usually one of the earliest herbs to emerge in spring. They often push through the soil when frost is still clinging to the morning ground. Their lively green shoots feel like the garden's first breath of life, often appearing long before other plants even begin to stir. And once they wake up, they grow non-stop. Chives prefer full sun, but adapt well to partial shade. Give them well-draining soil and they'll form dense, grassy clumps that grow thicker and lusher each year. Once they're established, they're unbelievably hardy. Even periods of neglect won't slow them down. One of the joys of chives is how versatile they are in the kitchen. You can harvest them anytime for a quick burst of fresh, gentle flavor. Add them to eggs, toss them over baked potatoes, mix them into dips, or whirl them into herb butter. Their taste is crisp, aromatic, and bright, just enough to enhance dishes without overpowering them. Then comes one of the best parts: the flowers. In early summer, tall stems rise above the foliage, topped with round lavender-purple blossoms. These blooms are stunning, but they're also edible. Add them to salads for a pop of color and soft onion flavor, or steep them in vinegar to create a beautifully tinted, fragrant infusion. Pollinators adore chives. Bees and butterflies crowd around the blooms, turning your herb bed into a miniature wildlife sanctuary. When the flowers finish, you can trim them down to encourage fresh growth, or let some go to seed if you don't mind chives spreading naturally around the garden. Maintenance is minimal. Every few years, when the clump becomes too dense, simply dig it up, divide it, and replant the sections. Each division becomes a new, thriving patch. Chives are a plant that multiplies generously, offering more beauty and more harvest with each passing year. If you want a gorgeous, edible, and almost foolproof perennial herb, start with chives. They are truly the definition of low effort, high reward. 2. Lovage, the forgotten giant, paraphrased. Every garden has its favorites: basil, parsley, rosemary, but one impressive heirloom herb has slipped from modern memory: lovage. Once beloved in medieval cooking and grown in monasteries across Europe, it has gradually disappeared from everyday gardens. Yet anyone who grows it wonders how such a bold, generous plant ever fell into obscurity. Lovage is a towering perennial, often reaching 5 or 6 feet in height. It has hollow stems and large, vibrant leaves that resemble celery, though they're bigger, richer, and far more fragrant. Its taste is celery-like but with added depth, spicier, more aromatic, and layered with hints of parsley and anise. A single leaf can transform broths, soups, or sauces with its powerful old-world flavor. What makes lovage exceptional is that every part of the plant is useful. The leaves add wonderful flavor to salads and soups. The stems enrich stocks and stews. The seeds work beautifully as a spice. Even the roots can be cooked or made into herbal tonics. It's a plant with zero waste, centuries before sustainability became a trend. Lovage thrives in cool, rich soil that stays slightly moist. It enjoys full sun to partial shade and, once established, is incredibly resilient. It easily handles cold winters and tolerates neglect. It dies back during the winter months, but returns vigorously each spring, often taller and fuller than the year before. Its clusters of yellow-green flowers attract bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects. With its impressive height and lush foliage, lovage makes a striking architectural feature in the garden. Tall, dramatic, and effortless to care for. A bit of compost in spring and occasional watering in dry periods are usually enough to keep it vigorous. In the kitchen, lovage is a treasure waiting to be rediscovered. A few leaves can deepen the flavor of broths or vegetable dishes, and the seeds bring an old-fashioned warmth to breads, spice blends, and savory spreads. Historically, monks used the roots and leaves in restorative tonics, believing they strengthened the body and cleared the mind. Its aromatic oils were even added to perfumes and bathwater in past centuries. Growing lovage today feels like bringing a forgotten classic back to life, a plant that combines beauty, history, resilience, and remarkable usefulness. Plant it once and it will return faithfully year after year, a reminder that some of the most valuable garden treasures are the ones that have been overlooked. 3. Thyme, the unshakable aromatic warrior. If herbs had personalities, thyme would be the wise, steady elder, calm, durable, and quietly impressive. It's one of those incredible plants that doesn't just tolerate difficult conditions, it embraces them. Drought? Thyme barely notices. Poor, rocky ground? It takes it in stride. Forget to water for a week? It might actually prefer it. That's because thyme originates from rugged, sun-scorched Mediterranean landscapes, places where soil is shallow, rainfall is minimal, and heat is constant. Over generations, it adapted to thrive under these harsh conditions, becoming one of the toughest and most self-sufficient perennial herbs a gardener can grow. But don't confuse its hardiness with simplicity. Thyme is a small plant packed with bold character. Every tiny leaf is rich with essential oils, giving it a deep, earthy fragrance and warm, savory flavor that elevates almost any meal. Toss fresh thyme over roasted potatoes, add it to marinades, blend it into stews, or scatter it across grilled vegetables. It adds that unmistakable Mediterranean brightness that instantly brings dishes to life. One of thyme's most charming qualities is its incredible variety. There's classic common thyme, the citrus-scented lemon thyme, the sweet and fragrant orange thyme, and even creeping thyme, which spreads like a living carpet. Each one offers its own aroma and culinary uses. Lemon thyme, for example, brings a fresh citrus note that's perfect for poultry and fish, while creeping thyme is ideal for planting between stepping stones to release bursts of fragrance with every step. Thyme doesn't just earn its place in the garden through flavor, it's visually stunning too. When summer arrives, thyme sends up delicate clusters of tiny flowers in shades of lavender, pink, or white. These blooms form a soft, mist-like layer over the plant and draw pollinators from every direction. Bees absolutely flock to thyme, making it one of the best herbs for supporting your local ecosystem. Caring for thyme could not be simpler. It wants full sun or as much sunlight as you can give it, and above all, excellent drainage. Too much moisture is the only real threat. Rich, wet soil will cause it to sulk or rot, while lean, dry soil is exactly what it loves. Once established, thyme needs minimal watering and only a quick trim after flowering to keep it neat and productive. Here's a gardener's tip. Plant thyme where people naturally brush past it, beside walkways, near seating areas, or along the edge of a patio. Each time you graze the plant with your hand or leg, the leaves release a wave of warm, sweet, earthy fragrance. It's an effortless way to make your outdoor space feel magical and alive. Like many reliable perennials, thyme ages beautifully. The base becomes woody with time, but fresh green shoots continue to appear each season. If your plant becomes bare in the center, simply take a few cuttings, root them, and start a new mound. A simple trick that keeps your thyme thriving for years. Whether you grow it in a garden bed, a rock garden, or a small pot on a balcony, thyme proves a timeless lesson. The most resilient plants are often the most rewarding. Strength and simplicity, all wrapped into one fragrant little herb. 4. Mint, the bold, uncontainable. Free spirit. Mint is the rebel of the herb family, bold, fragrant, and wildly energetic. If there's one plant determined to do things its own way, it's mint. It doesn't just grow, it spreads with enthusiasm, racing across the soil like it has a mission. But don't let that intimidate you. With a little guidance, mint becomes one of the easiest, most generous herbs you'll ever grow. Once mint is planted, you're essentially set for life. It's a hardy perennial that comes back year after year, often stronger than before, even after cold winters, inconsistent watering, or moments of neglect. The sheer variety of mint is astonishing. Peppermint with its icy, cool punch, spearmint with subtle sweetness, chocolate mint with dessert-like aroma, apple mint, pineapple mint, orange mint. Each has its own distinct character and culinary uses. Mint thrives in moist, fertile, well-drained soil, and unlike many herbs, it actually prefers partial shade. This makes it a perfect solution for those damp, shadowy parts of the garden where other plants struggle. Mint even enjoys humidity, so it's ideal for planting near ponds, beside shady patios, or at the edges of garden beds. But here's the golden rule of mint care. Always grow it in containers or controlled spaces. Mint spreads through underground runners that travel quickly and aggressively. If you plant it directly into the ground without barriers, it will take over everything around it, crowding out flowers, herbs, and even lawn grass. To keep mint manageable, grow it in pots, raised beds, or bury a container in the soil to prevent root escape. Harvesting mint is as easy as snipping off stems or plucking leaves whenever you need them. The more you cut, the stronger and bushier the plant becomes. You can gather fresh leaves all season long, and drying them gives you a steady supply of mint tea for the colder months. Mint's uses are incredibly versatile. It brightens drinks and cocktails, enhances desserts, lifts salads, adds freshness to sauces, and brings vibrance to marinades. Beyond culinary uses, mint is known for its soothing properties. It aids digestion, relieves stress when brewed as tea, and has a cooling effect when used in balms or sprays. As a bonus, mint is a natural pest deterrent. Its strong aroma helps repel mosquitoes, ants, and even mice. Planting mint near outdoor seating, doorways, or patios forms a fragrant protective barrier while filling the air with refreshing scent. In the end, mint is a beautiful combination of usefulness, fragrance, and unstoppable spirit. It rewards you generously with almost no effort, bringing both practical value and sensory delight. Once you grow mint, you'll wonder how you ever gardened without it. 5. Oregano, the Mediterranean treasure. When you think of that deep, savory taste that makes pizza, pasta, and roasted vegetables so addictive, you're thinking of oregano. This small herb has shaped Mediterranean cooking for centuries, prized not only for its bold flavor but also for its astonishing durability. Oregano is one of nature's true survivors. It flourishes in dry, rocky ground where many plants would fail, and it absolutely loves soaking up the sun. The harsher the growing conditions, the stronger the flavor becomes. Stress actually boosts the essential oils inside the leaves, giving oregano its signature aroma, meaning a bit of neglect can make it even tastier. Its strength is part of its charm. Once settled in, oregano withstands drought, blazing heat, and even light frost, coming back each year fuller and more vigorous. It's the perfect herb for gardeners who occasionally forget to water, or for those working with arid, sun-drenched spots where delicate plants simply wilt. The small oval leaves are packed with flavor, warm, earthy, slightly spicy, and wonderfully aromatic. Oregano pairs beautifully with tomatoes, meat, cheese, legumes, and roasted vegetables, enhancing almost any savory dish. Beyond cooking, oregano is rich in natural compounds with antimicrobial and antioxidant properties, earning it the nickname nature's antibiotic. A healthy oregano plant forms a compact green mound that looks beautiful even when you're not harvesting from it. In the summer, it bursts into clusters of tiny pink or purple blooms that attract bees, butterflies, and other beneficial pollinators. It's a magnet for garden life, adding movement, color, and ecological value to your outdoor space. Caring for oregano doesn't require much. Go easy on the watering. Soggy soil causes root trouble. Trim often, like pruning, encourages bushier growth. Harvest freely, the more you pick, the more it produces. If your plant becomes woody after a few seasons, simply divide the root ball in early spring. Replant the best sections and enjoy a fresh, vigorous oregano patch. It's also a wonderful way to create extra plants to share. Oregano truly embodies the spirit of the Mediterranean. Fragrant, beautiful, and unbelievably resilient. It brings the warmth and character of Southern Europe directly to your garden, rewarding you with flavor and hardiness year after year. 6. Sage, the velvety, sun-loving sentinel. Sage is one of those rare herbs that effortlessly blends ornamental charm, culinary usefulness, and ancient tradition. With its soft, silvery green leaves, it's as visually striking as it is flavorful. A cornerstone plant for any well-rounded herb garden. Coming from the hot, rocky hillsides of the Mediterranean, sage thrives in full sunlight and well-drained soil. It prefers dry conditions where more delicate plants might fail. Once established, sage becomes a strong, long-lived perennial that resists drought, heat, and most common diseases, offering years of beauty with minimal attention. Run your fingers along its plush, velvety leaves, and you'll immediately feel the plant's unique texture. Crush a leaf between your fingers and the air fills with a warm, earthy aroma. A scent woven into comforting dishes and ancient herbal remedies. Sage's bold, savory flavor pairs especially well with poultry, butter sauces, roasted vegetables, and holiday dishes. A single crisped sage leaf can elevate a simple meal into something unforgettable. But sage isn't only a kitchen staple. Across history, it has been used in medicine, rituals, and spiritual practices. It's been burned to cleanse spaces, brewed to soothe sore throats, and celebrated by ancient civilizations as a symbol of wisdom, longevity, and protection. In the garden, sage grows into a semi-woody shrub that can live for many years, sometimes more than a decade. In late spring or early summer, it sends up beautiful spikes of blue or purple flowers that attract bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, transforming your herb bed into a vibrant pollinator haven. To keep sage looking its best, prune lightly after it finishes flowering, and mulch the base in winter if you live in a colder region. Avoid overwatering. Sage dislikes wet soil and thrives with a drier root environment. Hardy yet graceful, sage lives up to its reputation. It's more than an herb. It's a plant of strength, flavor, and timeless elegance. 7. Lemon balm, the cheerful, calming healer. If joy had a scent, lemon balm would be its source. This uplifting herb releases a soft, lemony fragrance that instantly brightens any space, making your garden feel more cheerful and peaceful. A member of the mint family, lemon balm shares mint's easygoing, vigorous growth, but with a gentler temperament. It's a hardy perennial that grows effortlessly in partial shade or full sun, spreading readily by seed or stem cuttings. Each spring, it reappears with fresh, vibrant green leaves. The heart-shaped leaves give off their citrus fragrance the moment they're brushed or crushed. The scent is sweet and soothing, like warm lemon tea, without the sharp acidity of lemon peel. Lemon balm is wonderful in teas, desserts, salads, syrups, or infused oils, offering a mild citrusy note that complements rather than overpowers. This herb is also deeply valued for its calming effects. For centuries, people have turned to lemon balm to ease anxiety, reduce stress, improve sleep, and soothe an unsettled stomach. A cup of lemon balm, tea before bed, is often described as a gentle embrace in a mug. In summer, the plant blooms with delicate pale flowers that draw bees and other pollinators, adding soft touches of life to the garden. Because lemon balm can spread quickly, it's wise to keep it in containers or trim it regularly. A mid-season haircut keeps the plant tidy, encourages fresh growth, and prevents it from crowding neighboring herbs. Lemon balm is a comforting reminder of calm, a plant that brightens your mood with its scent alone. Place it near an entrance, pathway, or patio, so you can enjoy its refreshing fragrance whenever you walk by. 8. Rosemary, the evergreen guardian. If one herb represents longevity, strength, and clarity, it's rosemary. This aromatic evergreen has been cherished for centuries as a symbol of memory and endurance, thriving in conditions that challenge many other plants. Native to the Mediterranean coast, rosemary is designed for survival. It loves intense sunlight, dry soil, and consistent air circulation. Too much water is its enemy. Rosemary prefers its roots on the dry side. Give it warmth, drainage, and space to breathe, and it will reward you with decades of resilience and beauty. Its narrow, needle-like leaves release a refreshing, pine-like aroma with hints of lemon and wood. In ancient Greece, students wore rosemary crowns while studying, believing it sharpened the mind, a tradition rooted in the herb's long association with clarity and focus. In the kitchen, rosemary is bold, herbal, and versatile. It's perfect for roasted meats, potatoes, vegetables, bread, infused oils, and savory sauces. Even a single sprig can add remarkable depth to a dish, and rosemary-infused butter or olive oil brings gourmet flavor to ordinary meals. In the garden, rosemary offers year-round beauty. Its small blue or violet flowers appear in late winter or early spring, providing essential nectar for bees when few other flowers are available. In mild climates, rosemary remains green through every season, bringing structure, fragrance, and life to the garden. Caring for rosemary is uncomplicated. Give it plenty of sun. Ensure excellent drainage. Water lightly. Prune gently to keep its shape. In colder regions, grow it in containers so it can be moved indoors when frost threatens. And because rosemary roots easily from cuttings, you can quickly multiply your plants. Some rosemary shrubs in the Mediterranean are rumored to be over half a century old, living symbols of resilience and renewal. If you want an herb that you plant once and enjoy for a lifetime, rosemary is the perfect choice. Evergreen, aromatic, and unforgettable. Everyone loves chrysanthemums, those cheerful fall blooms that show up on nearly every porch once September arrives. But let's be honest, mums are basically the pumpkin spice latte of autumn plants. Fun for a moment, then gone before you know it. If you've ever watched yours droop before Halloween, you know the frustration. So here's the good news. There are plenty of other fall plants that are tougher, longer lasting, and far more interesting. These options will keep your containers looking full, vibrant, and beautiful all the way into winter. In this video, we're exploring 7 essential fall container plants that outperform mums in almost every category. Richer texture, deeper color, and more personality. Whether your aesthetic leans cozy cottage, modern minimalism, or rustic farmhouse, these plants will make your porch stand out and have your neighbors wondering how your pots still look perfect while theirs are already fading. Let's jump in, and by the end, you might not want to buy mums ever again. 1. Ornamental kale and cabbage. The fall showstopper. We're starting with one of fall's most overlooked gems, ornamental kale and cabbage. These aren't your grocery store greens, they're bred purely for visual impact. Think bold, swirling rosettes in shades of deep violet, creamy white, jade green, and soft pink. They look like living sculptures, dramatic, colorful, and incredibly eye-catching. And the best part? As temperatures drop, they don't fade. They intensify. Cool nights trigger pigments that make their colors brighter and richer. Purples deepen, pinks sharpen, and greens develop a frosty glow. It's like the cold air repaints them each day. Meanwhile, mums collapse after the first real frost. But kale and cabbage thrive in it. They handle cold effortlessly, and a light frost actually improves their color. Many gardeners keep them looking gorgeous into December, even with snow resting on their frilled leaves. When planting, don't skimp on space. They do best in large, deep containers where their roots can settle in. A single plant can serve as the dramatic centerpiece of a pot, but they also pair beautifully with trailing plants like ivy or creeping jenny spilling over the sides. For mixed fall containers, place your cabbage or kale in the center as the main attraction, then surround it with lower plants. Silver dusty miller, pansies, or heuchera work perfectly. The blend of shapes and colors makes the arrangement look intentional and lush. Caring for them is simple. Keep the soil moist but not soggy, and make sure your container drains well. Too much water can cause root rot. A diluted liquid fertilizer every few weeks will keep the foliage strong and vivid. Bonus tip: remove any lower leaves that yellow over time to keep the plant neat and encourage fresh growth. When nearly everything else gives up to the cold, ornamental kale and cabbage stay bold, colorful, and sculptural. They're the definition of plants that shine when the weather gets rough. If you're tired of containers dying off before October ends, start here. These plants don't just make it through fall, they dominate it. 2. Heuchera coral bells. The texture queen. If mums deliver color, heuchera delivers texture, elegance, and four-season appeal. This plant is the quiet standout of container gardening. Not flashy at first glance, but mesmerizing the longer you look at it. Heuchera or coral bells is all about foliage. The leaves come in an astonishing range of colors: velvety black, lime green, copper, plum, silver with violet veins, and more. Each leaf looks like it's been finely detailed by hand, and together they create layers of richness that elevate any arrangement. Unlike many fall plants, Heuchera doesn't rely on flowers to shine. Its leaves stay full and vibrant well into late fall, giving your containers that still alive and thriving look while other plants are fading fast. Its versatility is part of its charm. It prefers partial shade but can handle full sun in cooler weather. In containers, it fills space beautifully, hiding bare soil and creating that polished, professional appearance. When selecting varieties, think in terms of contrast. For drama, pair deep purples like obsidian with silvery dusty miller or lamb's ear. For brightness, combine lime-toned varieties like lime marmalade with dark pansies or purple cabbage. For a woodland feel, mix coppery cultivars with ferns and small ornamental grasses. Heuchera blends easily with other plants, but it's also striking on its own. One plant in a textured pot can look minimal, elegant, and refined. Care is simple. Keep the soil lightly moist and choose a potting mix with excellent drainage. Avoid overwatering. Too much moisture can cause the crown to rot. Let the top layer of soil dry slightly before watering again. Trim off any spent flower stalks or damaged leaves occasionally to maintain its shape. In cooler climates, the foliage often deepens in color during fall, adding even more seasonal interest. Many varieties are semi-evergreen, staying colorful throughout winter in mild regions. Come spring, refresh with new soil or companions, and it's ready to shine again. Heuchera proves that great color doesn't always come from blooms. With its endless variety and long-lasting foliage, it brings richness, layers, and refined beauty to any fall container. If mums are the loud, showy guests, Heuchera is the effortlessly stylish one that leaves a lasting impression. 3. Pansies and violas, small blooms with major presence. If any flower proves that tiny doesn't mean insignificant, it's pansies and violas. These little charmers deliver an incredible amount of character in a small package, and they'll keep your containers bright and blooming long after most plants have given up. Think of them as the joyful faces of fall. Their soft, velvety petals often look as though an artist painted them by hand. Splashes, streaks, and gradients of color so perfect they seem unreal. You can find them in nearly every shade: rich purples, golden yellows, crisp whites, glowing oranges, soft blues, sometimes all mixed within a single plant. What really sets them apart, though, is their cold tolerance. Pansies and violas adore chilly weather and actually perform better when the temperatures drop. In many areas, they'll keep blooming through light frosts and right into early winter. While mums collapse at the first real cold snap, pansies are still out there, cheerful and colorful, even when there's a dusting of snow on the ground. To get that lush, full look, plant them densely in your containers, baskets, or window boxes. The more you add, the richer and more luxurious your display becomes. For a more polished, designer-style arrangement, tuck them around the base of taller plants like grasses, heuchera, or compact evergreens. They also pair beautifully with ornamental kale or cabbage. The contrast between their delicate blooms and the bolder foliage is stunning. Because they grow low and spread outward, they act as a living carpet, filling bare spots and tying your whole display together. Caring for them is easy. Keep the soil consistently moist but never waterlogged. They dislike soggy roots. Make a habit of pinching off spent blooms to encourage continuous flowering. Within just a few days, you'll see new buds ready to open. Here's a professional tip. Choose violas if you want maximum longevity. Their smaller flowers handle cold even better than pansies and tend to bloom longer and more consistently. In mild climates, you'll often get a second burst of blooms in early spring, giving you fresh color after winter fades. So while mums may steal attention briefly in October, pansies and violas are the true long-distance performers. Vibrant, dependable, and unbeatable for months of fall and winter beauty. 4. Ornamental grasses, the masters of movement and drama. If you want to transform an ordinary fall container into something truly show-stopping, add ornamental grasses. They bring something flowers simply can't provide: motion. As the breeze blows, their blades ripple, shimmer, and sway, giving your display life and rhythm. Their movement adds elegance and atmosphere, turning your pots into dynamic, living pieces of art. They catch sunlight beautifully, cast graceful shadows, and instantly give your arrangement the high-end, professionally designed feel. In any container garden, grasses act as the architectural elements. They provide height, structure, dimension, and contrast. And yet they remain among the easiest plants to care for. Some compact varieties that work perfectly in pots include purple fountain grass, deep burgundy foliage topped with soft, feathery plumes that glow at sunset. Japanese forest grass, Hakonekloa, gently cascading leaves in shades of green and gold, perfect for shady spots. Blue fescue, a tidy mound of icy blue blades that pairs beautifully with cool-toned companions like dusty miller or pansies. These grasses are incredibly flexible in design. Use them as a dramatic focal point in a large urn, or let them soften the edges of a smaller planter. They work with every fall aesthetic: rustic farmhouse, cozy cottage, minimalist modern, you name it. Another reason they're so beloved: their evolving color. You'll find varieties in warm gold, bold burgundy, silver blue, and everything in between. Many grasses even shift shades as temperatures cool, giving your container a dynamic look that changes throughout the season. And just when you think they've offered all they can, winter adds a final flourish. Their dried plumes and blades become sculptural after frost, catching morning light and sparkling like gold filigree. Even with snow on them, they remain beautiful, adding structure when other plants have died back. To plant, choose a generously sized pot that allows room for the roots to expand. Use well-draining soil and water regularly until the plant is established. After that, most varieties become quite drought-tolerant and require very little maintenance. In early spring, simply trim the plant down to a few inches above the soil to allow fresh growth to emerge. Ornamental grasses don't just occupy space, they shape it. They turn an ordinary planter into a centerpiece and transform a still corner into a lively, eye-catching scene. Paired with fall favorites like pansies, kale, or trailing ivy, they bring texture, motion, and harmony to every container they grace. 5. Heathers and heaths, the cold season champions. When most plants are shutting down for the year, heathers and heaths are just stepping into the spotlight. These compact, evergreen dynamos deliver bright color and fine texture right when your garden, and your entire street, is starting to slip into dull winter tones. They're low, dense shrubs covered in slender, needle-like leaves and clusters of tiny bell-shaped blooms that range from creamy white and soft pink to deep magenta and rich purple. In containers, they look light and airy, almost wispy, yet they're surprisingly resilient. These plants thrive in cold weather, shrug off frost, and keep their color well into winter, even when temperatures dip below freezing. But the real magic lies beyond the flowers. Heathers and heaths have foliage that transforms with the seasons. Depending on the variety, their leaves can shift from bright green to copper, gold, or fiery red as the weather cools. This means your fall containers aren't static. They evolve, becoming richer, deeper, and more vibrant each week. If you are after that natural woodland aesthetic, something that blends wild meadow charm with cozy autumn warmth, these plants are perfect. They pair effortlessly with ornamental grasses, miniature conifers, or even a trailing ivy cascading over the pot's edge. The combination of fine needles, soft plumes, and glossy vines creates layers of texture that look appealing from every angle. Plant them in acidic, well-draining soil and keep the moisture consistent without going overboard. They hate soggy roots but don't appreciate drying out completely either. Topping the soil with bark mulch helps maintain moisture and protects the roots as frost arrives. Pro tip: mix a few varieties with different bloom times. That way you'll enjoy waves of color from early fall all the way into early winter, and in milder climates, even longer. Place your container somewhere you can admire the details, near a front door, along a walkway, or beside a patio. Add small pumpkins, pine cones, or decorative branches for instant autumn charm with a rustic, storybook flourish. The best part? Even beneath a layer of snow, heathers and heaths hold their shape and their appeal. While other plants fade into winter, these little evergreens keep doing their job, adding color, texture, and beauty when you need it most. If you've ever dreamed of fall planters that still look alive in January, consider this your secret solution. 6. Sedum, the low-maintenance fall icon. If you want a plant that stays gorgeous with almost zero effort, sedum, also known as stone crop, is the clear winner. It's the go-to plant for anyone who wants beautiful fall containers without constant watering or fussing. Sedum is a succulent, which means it stores water in its thick, fleshy leaves. This makes it exceptionally drought-tolerant and incredibly low maintenance. Skip a few waterings, it won't mind. Cold snaps? It barely notices. Wind and frost? This plant pushes through with ease. There are countless varieties to choose from, but for fall, Sedum Autumn Joy, Hylotelephium telephium, is the superstar. It produces tight clusters of star-shaped blooms that start out bubblegum pink and gradually darken into coppery red as temperatures cool. By late fall, those flower heads take on a deep, burnished tone, like nature's version of aged bronze. But sedum's appeal isn't only about its flowers. The plant's structure itself is a design element. Thick stems and rounded succulent leaves create a bold architectural shape that instantly grounds a container arrangement. Sedum acts as a visual anchor, calm, solid, and sculptural, balancing out more airy or trailing plants. Pair it with ornamental cabbage, heuchera, or dusty miller for a striking textural contrast. Or go for an earthy, natural look by surrounding it with small gourds, moss, pine cones, or driftwood. The mix of sturdy, succulent leaves with softer foliage or airy blossoms creates that perfect modern rustic vibe. As fall progresses, the flower heads dry naturally. And here's the key: don't cut them off. In winter, those dried, blooms turn into stunning natural sculptures. They catch frost like tiny crystals and shimmer in morning light. Many professional landscapers intentionally leave sedum standing through winter because it brings shape and interest long after other plants fade. Sedum prefers full sun and well-drained soil. Too much fertilizer can actually cause it to flop, so keep feeding minimal. Once planted, it really only needs occasional watering, and even then, it's forgiving. Sedum is the plant that never looks stressed, never asks for much, and always delivers beauty. Dependable, stylish, and incredibly resilient, it turns fall containers into showpieces with almost no effort from you. If you want a fall display that feels polished, modern, and totally worry-free, sedum is the undisputed star. 7. Dwarf evergreens. The reliable, year-round anchor. If you've ever wished your fall containers could stay beautiful all winter long, and even greet the spring looking just as fresh, dwarf evergreens are the answer you've been searching for. These compact, cold-loving shrubs provide constant structure, color, and life to your porch, patio, or front entry. While mums and other seasonal favorites fade away by late fall, evergreens keep their shape, stay full, and remain vibrant through frost, snow, and winter winds. If there's a plant that truly symbolizes dependable beauty, this is it. Varieties like dwarf Alberta spruce, compact boxwood, juniper, and miniature arborvitae have earned their reputation for a reason. They come in an array of shapes, textures, and greens, from deep woodland tones to striking silvery blues. Some grow like neat little cones, others form soft, rounded mounds, and a few drape gently over the edges of containers. One of the biggest perks of dwarf evergreens is how effortlessly they fit into any style. In a sleek black or white pot, they look polished and modern. In terracotta or rustic wooden barrels, they take on a cozy, cottage-like charm. Whatever the aesthetic, they instantly elevate it. But their real beauty shows in how they adapt with the seasons. Think of them as living sculptures, the steady grounding element of your design. In autumn, you can surround them with ornamental kale, heuchera, or pansies for color and texture. When winter arrives, add pine cones, a string of soft lights, or branches with red berries for a festive feel. Come spring, swap those accents for tulips, petunias, or daffodils. The evergreen stays right where it is, anchoring the entire arrangement. They're also wonderfully low maintenance. Once they're established, they require very little watering. Just be sure the soil drains well, as evergreens dislike sitting in wet, heavy soil. A light trim in early spring will keep their form neat, dense, and healthy. Here's a professional design tip. Follow the classic thriller, filler, spiller formula. Let the evergreen be your thriller, the strong, eye-catching centerpiece. Around its base, add fillers like heuchera or ornamental cabbage. Then finish with spillers such as ivy or creeping jenny to soften the edges. It creates a full, layered look that feels balanced and intentionally designed. And perhaps the best thing about dwarf evergreens? They stay evergreen. Literally. They remain green and alive all year long, even when everything else has turned brown or disappeared. That means you'll never have to deal with the sad, empty container look so common in midwinter. So if you're tired of replanting every few months, or you simply want something that looks stylish and welcoming through every season, dwarf evergreens are the ultimate foundation. They're the steady heartbeat of a truly four-season container. Classic, resilient, and effortlessly beautiful. With one of these in your fall arrangement, your porch will stay vibrant and polished long after the rest of the neighborhood's displays have faded.